All right, so I realized something last night. Oh, jeez, is that always clean up your workspace. Always clean up your workspace. Um, no, that's not what I realized. Is I have a few things that I need to share. One of which is after a life like mine, which did not go according to plan whatsoever, and was epically beyond my wildest imagination. Luckily, I watched Star Wars a lot as a kid. That gave me a framework for, you know, learning the Force and like all this wild stuff that goes on. But uh, that was my intro to Emmanuel's life. Um, it has to be shared. It has to be shared. And if you're on a spiritual journey and transforming, the most valuable thing you can do is share what you have and share where you are. You know, I I did my best to do that, but I couldn't until I reached a certain point at which it was time to share. And now it's time to share. You know, some mystery schools they let you talk for the first 10 years because you're not supposed to spend your energy on anything other than learning. And I tried over the years so many times to do essentially what I'm doing now is just share what I had, but you don't want to be an uncooked egg sharing uncooked experience. So while the vast majority of my experience remains uncooked, I do have the capacity to discern what has been matured. And a lot of what these things are things that I have internalized, spiritual processes. So the one I like the most is the win-win scenario. It is essentially non-dual holistic abundance. It is deciding that when you walk into a situation, wherever you go, whoever you interact with, everyone's going to leave with more than when they started. Yeah. You become a font of divine abundance and the humble human way that you can. And I practiced that consciously so many times over so many years, declared to the divine, declared to the universe, and eventually it happens automatically. And now it's a trait. It's not even a decision, a wish, a hope. It's a trait. And when I walk into a situation, interact with people, I can trust that everyone will win. Um, and that is positivity. So if you're interested in doing that, I just start by making a decision that because it's based on the principle of abundance, um, you know, in stark contrast to other ways of viewing the world that we won't talk about because they're not worth it, is that everything can be win-win. Even if someone's giving you something for free, it can be win. And you don't try. You just hand it over to the universe. You get the house for all of it, all of a vertical process like spiritual growth. You just give it over to the universe and say, you figure out the details. This is what I'm intending to do and who I'm intending to be. And you become that. Yeah. And I didn't know that you became those things, but you actually become the things that you practice. They become a part of you. And I mean, I gotta say, nothing feels better than knowing I'm the guy who can walk into a situation and unless it's a situation that's toxic, right? Detrimental, right? And which of those I harshly sever ties and walk away. The rest of the time, I mean, I just playfully interact with the world and everybody wins. and it's really, really good. And sometimes intensely interact with the world, and everyone wins. And they say that people feel compelled to serve those who are willing to serve, and I definitely have spent a long time. Another thing to do is try to align yourself to the highest and best good of either everyone involved or all beings everywhere, or just the highest and best good of everyone. And that includes you. And when you do that, then and dedicate your work to that, and dedicate your day to that. Say it frequently and often until it becomes you're part of the highest and best good of all beings everywhere. And the next thing you know, you're you're finishing off the hardest part of your spiritual journey. You're leaving the crisis zone, and you're sharing how to create win-win scenarios with the world with all honesty, all authenticity, not like an idea that I had that I tried out once. This is something that is firmly a part of my being and can be firmly a part of your being too. And another trick, if you need like a perk, is like people like you. People like the win-win guy. They want him to come over because everyone's gonna win. People don't want the guy who's like competing and trying to take and like fighting and manipulating. Be the authentic win-win guy. That's less than one. All right, that's enough for now. I'll talk to you later. Bye.